Well, all right. Welcome back to As It Should Be. Paul Bertolino here in the world-famous As It Should Be studios. And, well, believe it or not, for this week's Monday solo video, I'm not doing a track versus track for a change, all right? Yeah, I figured maybe it might be time to do a recent record roundup. Yeah, you know, I haven't done one since July, and I really don't buy albums really as much as I used to. I don't acquire them at the sort of rate that I once did. Part of it, I think, is just the crazy-ass prices of records nowadays. I mean, records that, you know, and I say this all the time, records that I used to be able to just buy, you know, they were a dime a dozen, you get them for $3 a piece. Now it's like they're $25, $30 records or more. And, so yeah, I mean, I kind of really have to want a record nowadays to buy it, or, you know, find one cheap, or just be feeling it that day, I guess. But I have a few here that I've actually accumulated over the last couple months or so, and I thought I would show them. I'm going to show them off. Here we go. All right, so I'm going to start out with the Smithereens 11. Yeah. Now, this is a replacement copy. Now, I'm not getting my first copy of Smithereens 11. Believe me, I've been a Smithereens fan since the first album came out in '86, especially for you. And so I've kind of gone on the whole ride with them in terms of them being a signed band. I mean, they were a local band here in New York for years before that, since like 1980, playing Kenny's Castaways and all that kind of stuff. And they put out an EP and a couple of, an indie single or two. But Especially for You in '86 was really their first album. This is their third album, and I was deep in with the Smithereens by this point, and I bought this day of release. For some reason, the copy that I bought when it came out has vanished. I don't know. I've mentioned on videos in the past that I went through a period in the 90s during the CD period, like the peak of the CD period, where I kind of got rid of a little bit of vinyl. I may have gotten rid of my original copy of this then. I don't remember getting rid of it. I just know that it's not in my collection anymore. I don't know. So I really wanted to replace it, but it's 2023, and this is not an inexpensive album to replace. I was looking around. I mean, there are people who have this up on eBay and even Discogs for like $100. There is no reason the Smithereens 11 needs to be $100. I don't care. I mean, if it's signed by all of them, including Pat, who's like dead, okay, we'll talk. But just a standard, nothing special copy. Like, this is a really nice copy, this one. But yeah, your standard copy of Smithereens 11, there's no reason. This one, I bought this one recently because it was $30. Now, I would never in a million years have thought there would be a time where I would buy a copy of Smithereens 11 for $30, because, you know, I bought it for $7.99 when it came out, and thought I still had it. And I would have never, ever thought that it would be a $30 record. Well, in a time where apparently to some people it's a $100 record, well, I felt pretty lucky to buy this for $30. And it really is a beautiful copy. I'll be really honest. It's actually nicer, I think, than my original copy, because the one that I originally had, you know, I played it. It was well used. It was well loved. It probably had a little bit of ring wear. It may have even had a little bit of spine tearing or whatever. This one's absolutely gorgeous. So, I mean, you know, $30, that was a bit of a bitter pill to swallow. But if I was going to get a new one, this had to be the copy I was going to buy, because I'm not going to pay $100 for it. Okay, next up is most definitely an album that I already had. I've had for a long time. I think I bought my first copy of this in the 80s. And I bought several copies of this over the years. I currently probably have at least three copies of this, but this is one of those kind of upgrade situations. Tower of Power, with their self-titled 1973 album. Yeah, Tower of Power, the album with So Very Hard to Go on it. Now, the reason I bought this really is because it's in shrink with the hype sticker. I mean, I already have, you know, a couple of pretty good copies of this, but shrink and hype sticker, and the t-shirt transfer insert. Yeah, I mean, I couldn't resist that. I love Tower of Power, particularly those first three albums, but there are a couple, you know, Urban Renewal, I think, is the fifth one. Oakland back to Oakland. Yeah, you know, when it gets to the fourth and fifth album, it kind of starts to kind of go off a little bit for me. But those first three, classics. And yeah, Shrink and Hype sticker, I'm sold, even though I already have 3 copies. I'm a sucker for it. Okay, up next is a couple of 90s albums by a 90s band. Yeah, and these are reissues that I just bought. I just bought this past week because they were very affordable. I mean, I got these brand new, and that is the Muffs with their second album, Blonder and Blonder, and their third album, Happy Birthday to Me. Now, these are albums, you know, I've been into the Muffs since back in the day, since back when the first album came out. Now, this album, Blonder and Blonder, I bought this on vinyl in '95 when it came out. They were on Reprise at the time, and it was on red vinyl, and it had the 60s tricolor Reprise label on it, which was so, I absolutely loved that. That was so cool. That was so damn cool. Well, guess what happened to that? Yeah, at some point I decided to get rid of it. I sold it. I don't know when or why. Like a complete idiot, I got rid of that record. I don't have it anymore. Yeah, guess what? Yeah, you're easily going to drop $100 for that or more. You know, 150 maybe to get another copy of that. I would really love to have another one, but I don't $150 love that album or want a copy of it. New reissue? I'll take it. This I never had on vinyl, and you know, it kind of like I was just talking about Tower of Power. It's all about those first 3 albums. I'm like that with the Muffs too. It's like I'm a first 3 albums Muffs guy, really. Now, what prompted me to buy both of these this week was that Ronnie Barnett. Shout out to Ronnie Barnett, bassist of the Muffs. On Facebook, he posted just last week that Omnivore Records, or whatever the label is that put these out, had a sale going on where they were half off. So basically, I got each of these for like $10. I got both of them for the price of one. So it was like, okay, I need both these. I need to replace my Blonder and Blonder, and I've never had this on vinyl. So yeah, boom, pluck. Yeah, and they came, and like 4 days later, they were down in the lobby there. So yeah, there you go. I mean, like $10 each for and these are really good reissues. They're nice. They're really great. They're really nice, heavy vinyl, and you know they sound great, and they're really they have great inserts. They have inner sleeves that have basically most of the material that was in the CD booklet, but they also have track by track commentary by each of the band members, and if you're a Muffs fan, I recommend these reissues. All right, so this next album I did not purchase. I acquired it. I found it. No, it was a gift. It was a gift from a friend, a friend/viewer. And it is A Question of Balance by the Moody Blues. Now, I'm a big Moody Blues fan, so of course I've had this album for a million years, but this is a really nice UK copy of it. Now, one day, my friend Jim, shout out to Jim, you may be watching right now, he sent me a message and said, hey, I know you like the Moodies. Do you collect the UK copies of their albums? Are you interested in UK copies of their albums? I said, well, I have a couple. I don't really make it a big point to try to collect all the UK pressings. I have all the US ones, and I do that whole thing, with like, ooh, this one has Shrink and Hype sticker and all that kind of crap, but I pretty much have mostly stuck with the US ones. I have a couple of UKs, but yeah, I mean, I'm not disinterested. I'm interested, yeah. He said, well, I just found a really, really nice UK copy of Question of Balance. Do you want it? Yeah, absolutely. So he sent it here to the world famous As It Should Be Studios, and here it is. This is really cool. Like, it has the little, like, the US one doesn't have this, the sort of envelope situation, and I mean, leave it to the US to have the cheaper version. But yeah, this really is a really nice copy of it, and I think it's probably nicer than any of the US ones I have. I have 1 or 2 copies of that, and yeah, this is better. So thank you to Jim. Moody Blues, Question of Balance, UK. All right, so next up, I have 2 albums by one artist, and that is Pat Benatar with Crimes of Passion and Precious Time. Yeah, now these, even in the current climate, you can get these records pretty cheaply. I mean, what did I pay? Like $5 for this, $8 for this, but hey, shrinking hype sticker, man, so $8. In 2023, $8, that's practically a dollar record. But these are also the type of records, like I've wanted to get a copy of this for quite a while, but this is the kind of album where I'm like, you know what? I'm going to hold out for like the copy, the shrinking hype sticker, like beautiful, gorgeous copy, because it's not going to cost me that much. I may as well like get the right one. And with this one, I just picked it up because it was there. But I like Pat Benatar and I like this album, but I didn't want to get that picky and go, well, no, I got to wait out shrinking hype sticker for this one too. I was just like, it was there, and I picked them both up. I've never had copies of these albums before. These are actually my very first copies of these albums. In fact, I believe these are the very first Pat Benatar albums I've ever purchased. I've always liked Pat Benatar. I was really into this when it came out. I think my aunt had this record because I used to listen to it. When I put it on when I got it, it was like I knew every song. So I'm pretty sure it was around that I was exposed to it when at the time when it was new. But I mean, if I can actually see this, but it has her version of "You Better Run" by the Young Rascals. That's the first version of that song I ever heard. Loved it, and "Treat Me Right" and "Hit Me With Your Best Shot" I wasn't that into. I like it more now, I think, than I did then. But yeah, I'm kind of surprised that this is the first time I've ever bought this record, because I've always liked this stuff. And Precious Time, I mean, this has "Promises in the Dark." It's so much. There's a lot of really great stuff on this. I'm kind of really happy to finally get my hands on some Pat Benatar records. I may buy more. Okay, next up is the latest album by a current artist, Mama's Gun with Cure the Jones. Yeah, I mean, this is probably, when did this come out? This is probably about a year or two old, but yeah, Mama's Gun features Andy Platts of Young Gun Silver Fox. I've talked about them before. I've talked about, I went through a period where I was talking about them a lot and at length, to the point you probably got sick of hearing about them. Well, Andy Platts, who is the lead vocalist of Young Guns. Take two. Andy Platts, who is the lead singer of Young Gun Silver Fox, he plays keys and he sings, and he and Sean Lee both write, of course. Well, this really is the band that he was in originally, that he continues to be in. But I mean, he's been in this band since before Young Gun Silver Fox was the thing, and I think this is their best album. This is their latest album, and for my money, this is their finest. I really, really love this one. This is one of those where I had the tab open on the internet on my computer for the longest time, going, oh, okay, I need to buy this, I need to pick this up, and I kept not buying it, and the tab just sat there, and one day I just went, Jesus, buy the damn record and close the tab. And luckily I did, because here it is. It's a great, soulful, kind of 70s, a little yacht rockish, but it's really kind of, this is less yacht. Young Gun Silver Fox is yacht rockish. This is a little bit more straight up classic soul kind of vibes, and a little bit of yacht rock. But yeah, I mean, it's really is great, and Andy Platts is a great kind of soulful vocalist and a great songwriter, and he kind of really channels the kind of that sound that I love so much so well. And if you're into that kind of thing, if that's your bag, man, I really recommend this album, Mama's Gun, Cure the Jones. Okay, this next one is going to make Robert Fithen happy. He's going to be excited. He's going to be really excited that I got my hands on this. He's going to be jealous, too. Jealous. That's right. I can see Robert turning green right now. The Beach Boys Today. The Beach Boys Today. Now, of course, this is not my first copy of the Beach Boys Today. In fact, anybody watched, I did a video a few months back where I showed all my Beach Boys albums. I pretty much had just about everything. I'm missing American Spring, but for the most part, my Beach Boys collection is pretty complete up to a certain point. Beach Boys Today, I picked this one up because some of my 60s Beach Boys albums, some of the copies I have are a little rough. Maybe a really kind of a rough cover with ring wear, maybe the record's in very good condition, and some of them need to be replaced. And I discovered this when I was going through the collection making the video. I was like, oh shit, I didn't realize my my Summer Days was this rough. Split seam, oh god, So recently I ran into this copy of Beach Boys Today, mono Beach Boys Today, and the record isn't in very good condition, but the cover is absolutely stunning. It is like practically straight out of The Shrink. The cover is gorgeous. $5. Now, it was $5 because the record is trashed, but I mean, I can mix and match. I have a better copy of the record that I can put in this beautiful cover, and yeah, so that's why I bought this, just strictly for the cover. This beautiful cover alone is well worth the $5 I spent. And how much would you pay, Robert? Okay. Speaking of albums that are going to make Robert jealous, actually, Robert really, this really is an album that Robert loves. I don't remember if he has this or if this is one that he talks about this record a lot. And I don't remember now if he actually has a copy or if this is one of the ones he's been wanting to get. I was aware of this record before Robert was talking about it, but him talking about it is what really kind of got me to really dig into it and give it more of a listen. And I never had a copy until right now, and I was pretty lucky to run into it. Kaleidoscope, Tangerine Dream. Yeah. Now, obviously, it's not an original issue. There's no way I'm going to find an original issue, or if I am, it's not going to be any price that I'm going to be willing to pay. This is the 2016, I think, Tapestry Records issue of the album. Anybody who knows all the different pressings of this, you probably can recognize it pretty easily because the printing's a little darker, and for some reason it's printed off center, so this guy's kind of cut off. On the original one, this guy's not cut off, so it's weird. Like, the record sounds really good. It's a good pressing of the album in terms of vinyl, but they kind of half-assed the cover, I would say. I mean, yeah. I mean, I don't know what's up with yeah. But you know, it has Shrink and Hype sticker on it, but the Shrink is kind of coming off. But yeah, I mean, I ran into this maybe 2 weeks ago at Academy here in Brooklyn, and it was $25. $25. I mean, you know, used, new. I mean, you know, according to this, there are only like 1,000 copies of this, so I would think that it would be more expensive. All I know is that I found this record. It was something I was interested in buying to begin with, but then I saw that it was only $25. I mean, I kind of was under the impression that even a reissue of this would probably be some stupid, crazy ass price at this point. But $25. Yeah, guess what? I'm pulling out my wallet. All right, well, there you go. That's it. That's my recent record roundup. Those are all the records that I bought in recent times, and I'm sure I'll do another one again in a couple months or whatever after I've gotten a few albums, after I bought, you know, a 5th copy of some other album that I've had since the 80s. But yeah, anyway, thank you everybody who watches the videos and who have subscribed. But if you haven't subscribed, maybe subscribe and click the little bell if you haven't, because of notifications. And now, next week, or not next week, but on Thursday, every Thursday we have our Albums of the Year series with Crystal Durant, Tommy Von Voigt. This week, no Albums of the Year. Yeah, no Albums of the Year this week. You know why? Because this week on Thursday we have our Q&A video. Yeah, about a week or so ago, roughly maybe 2 weeks ago, I put up a little 2-minute video saying, hey everybody, we're going to do a Q&A video. Send me questions. And yeah, well, we got all the questions and we made the video, and this Thursday we're going to put it up. Now, with all the questions and all the babbling we did answering the questions, this is a 2-parter. These are long videos, like over an hour each, I think, and it's going to be a 2-parter. So that means no Albums of the Year this week or next week, because, you know, I thought about maybe putting up 88 and 89 and then having them the Q&A videos up as a break in between the 80s and the 90s. But Tommy goes, really, you're going to make them wait that long for the answers to the questions? And I thought, okay, all right. So putting it up this week, part 1. Next week, part 2. And then after that, we will resume Albums of the Year with 1988. And so, yeah, anyway, everybody get ready for Thursday, Q&A, and I'll talk to you guys soon.